Hello and welcome. I'm back live. I've had a shower. My hair is wet. It's a little bit cold. I've just put the heater on. Harrison is a little scallywag, little naughty boy. More later. Have I told you how much I hate Australian internet? Anyway, there's lots to rant about. We've got a cage. I'm just going to say viewer discretion's advised because at the moment we seem to be offending everybody. Anyway, let's sit back and relax and get this party started. Well, hello and welcome. Yes, so Harrison's managed to get me into trouble with my mother and I hadn't even done anything. She told him a tall tale. So hello, everybody. You love scallywags. Gail, great, because he is a big scallywag. Yes. So, yes, he's a bit of a scallywag. That is for sure. So, I haven't shown you the live she did on Sunday, but she did a live today. But to look at today's live, we have to go through Twitter. And I need to just put this here. I've done a content banner. Because content may offend. Viewer discretion advised. I've decided that I'm just going to use this because Diamond says this will make my blood rise. Will this make my blood rise? I am not sure. Diamond, yes. Well, I mean, at least she's not being discriminatory. She's offending everybody rather than just small pockets of people these days. So I've got to give her that. So we'll start off with Instagram and then we'll go to her live because once you've seen her Instagram, you'll understand her live. And I actually was in uni, so I actually recorded it. I was able to record it, but I wasn't able, I don't know what's in it. I've just seen people's reactions to it and I've gone, okay. It's a good thing I wasn't paying attention. It's got to do with discipline. Apparently, we're going to get schooled. Apparently, she schools us in the art of parenting. So, and I'm still waiting for Sundays to upload. My internet is Australian internet sucks. In case you don't know, Australian's internet sucks. All right. Brothers, twins from the same litter. Our boys were bonded litter mates. They are constant companions, obsessed with sleeping in the closet on my husband's sweaters. Charlie and Darwin. Charlie's on the right, Darwin left. Charlie hates to be separated from Darwin. Darwin barely many hours because Charlie speaks for them. Charlie sleeps with me every night and Darwin bites my toes all night. But if they have to be separated, they'd be sleeping together. Anyway. Someone says, how do you tell them apart? Well, I can see that already that Darwin has a longer stripe on the head there. Charlie's is a bit wider, and they've got different features on their nose. Laura says, I'll stay a terrible parent. Thanks, KJ. Yeah, all right. So then she's gone digging. Here is why I have believed for more than a year that Christine and Mary are not with Cody anymore. When they purchased the land in Flagstaff, the only wives that co-own their plots alone with Cody are Janelle and Robin. The plots that are connected to Mary and Christine have two of them listed as the third owner. Janelle is listed on Christine's plot, and Robin's is listed on Mary's, meaning neither Christine or Mary own their property with Cody. alone. I believe limits his liability exposure while ensuring that if Christine or Mary walk away, it's not solely in Cody's name. Cody removed himself from the deed title. Christine is now the sole owner of the home. Yazabel had her surgery in September. Cody did not go. Cody was also not around for McKelty's daughter's birth. McKelty admitted last week that Janelle and Mary haven't even met Avalon via video chat yet. I've spoken to a former polygamist this morning about family separations, hoping to get better insight for you all. Stay tuned. So we're deep diving. Okay. Oh, KJ's cat had a sex change. She used to be girls. Wow. Really? So she's gone through. There's the warranty deed. So there you go. Because yesterday's rant was on sister wives. This was the moment, the final straw for me on his side. But this was it. The callousness of his actions, the selfish response, the utter hurt and pain he caused his daughter. He's no father. I've spoken to Christine's brown aunt, Kristen Decker, this morning about everything that happened. I'll feel you. Right. She does a hot now. This is what her live is on. So she says, playing the obedience game. Since we were having a hard time responding quickly this morning with yes, ma'am. Your dramatic emphasis makes all those tolerable. Thank you, Rosalind. All right. So this is not okay. I support Jill Dillard leaving the cult, but this game is a game taught by the cult to teach children blind obedience to children. What? Hang on. Okay. That doesn't make any sense. But anyway, children are instructed to do whatever the parent asks without question. If they don't, they can be corrected. Now, it reminded me of the game Mother May I.
I've also been continuing. He's good. Okay. We're playing the obedience game. We're practicing yes, ma'am. They have to say yes, ma'am, before I give them an assignment. Okay. You, Israel, you go tap the couches and the piano bench in the living room and come right back. Good job. Stan, you go touch your bed and Chuchi's bed and come right back. Oh. Stan. Hey, he does seem like a mistake. You gotta say yes, ma'am. Good job, Israel. Go touch the bathroom. Mommy's bathroom door. You didn't say yes, ma'am. You are going to be able to play. I'm not going to give you another assignment if you don't.
And she says they love to play it and ask. I mean, do those kids look like that they're like not liking it?
Sam, go touch your bed and come back.
Anyway. So she's saying, and she goes, Michelle Duggar wrote this training in her book. Our goal is to have them understand 4 different points of obedience. Instant. We tell them obedience needs to occur instantly. If it doesn't happen instantly, it's not obedience. Sometimes it's not what you want to do, but it's what Mummy and Daddy said. Cheerful. God wants us to obey him joyfully. The parents want the same thing from the children. Even what we're asking of them is a little difficult or not what they want to do. We remind them to respond with the right attitude. Yes, ma'am, or even yes, ma'am. I'd be happy to. We want them to comply without snorting or stomping off in anger or complaining. Sarah, this point of obedience came up because when someone was left undone, we so often heard their responses, I didn't hear you or I forgot. Now we ask the children to do something. We make sure they're looking us in the eye when we make the request. Then we wait to hear yes, ma'am, or yes, sir in the response. Unconditional. We teach the kids to do what we ask without arguing. For example, if I ask someone to vacuum, I don't want to hear that's not my job, that's so-and-so's job. Well, I know whose job it is. I'm the one who gave out the jobs. We call them jurisdictions. That's why she doesn't like it. It's got the word jurisdiction in there. Instead, I want to hear yes, ma'am, as the child heads off to retrieve the vacuum cleaner. I'm not suggesting that Jill is using corporal punishment, but this is a technique the Duggars wrote about using to make sure their children never question their authority. Children should develop critical thinking, not be manipulated through these games. It might seem fun, but it's not. Please do better, Jill. This is not loving. I know that we used to play a game called Mother May I or Simon Says or sounds like pretty good solid parenting to me. Well done, Jill. Sounds like a Simon Says. They look like they're having fun. Hello, Maria. So it says, so someone says, my 7-year-old daughter, who definitely has her own rules, saw me reading this. She asked and I explained, and now she thinks it's the best game on earth. It will last about 10 minutes. We're definitely not the Duggars, but I'm thankful of her for her spunk and freedom of thought and choice. So someone says, it's not teaching manners, it's over the top. When my kids weren't listening to me, we'd play red light, green light. I don't see how this is very different. Same idea, different execution. Why not play Simon Says instead? Yeah, so it's like red light, green light. Learning to follow directions, yes. Is this mat light blanket? I instantly thought of blanket training with this one. For any of you feeling uneasy on the ma'am sir thing, many of us in the South are absolutely conditioned to speak this way. Come on, Jill is doing great as a parent. She just has to shame every parent to a level that's almost like criminal accusation. Maybe they should act like her dogs and jump through screens or chew paint off walls. Holy moly, you should be aghast at my upbringing back in the day. Sent to my room, feather duster swish, no real communication. What mum and dad said, no one didn't argue. I told her a lot about here. She's so wary of trusting, believing. Again, my heart went out for the girls. She's angry and trusted KJ. Oh, that's no good, Claire. Hello, Ballistic. Sorry, but I see nothing wrong with this. Parents use games, bribes, and lie about Santa and Easter Bunny to get kids to follow instructions. Someone says blind obedience, you're reaching. Yeah, try to paint this as blind obedience is in itself ignorance. What Jill is teaching is manners regarding saying, yes, ma'am. She's trying to show them when to use it, not at all what this entire post is about. And then someone says you can't take the girl out the cult. You can take the girl out the cult, but you can't take the cult out the girl. When I saw this posted earlier, I almost cried inside and said, why? I mean, how is this different to us playing Mother May I growing up? And someone says that was a game. Well, aren't they playing a game? There was no punishment. There was no punishment when he didn't do it. At least she's interacting with her children. They seem to be enjoying it. Says, feel the love. And I turned out just fine. I dearly love my parents, says Gail M. Look, KJ needs to chill out. They're learning life skills. Well, I'm glad it finally gives you a notification, Ballistic. So rumour in the hood is that the cops paid a visit to KJ. Yes, they did, they? Really, Claire? Is that why she hasn't mentioned anything about it today? So she says, give them a command. KJ would die here. It's called learning respect in a loving way. Wonder if she shames everyone with healthy children because she's resentful. What they're doing here is just fine and even fun. It's called manners. In all seriousness, both of my daughters' occupational therapists do waiting games to teach impulse control. They should know this since they had a child on spectrum who's getting proper therapy. Well, yeah. All right. So now she's saying, let's talk obedience training. Oh, look, it's there. Here's her live. She kept it up. All right. I don't need to do it on it. Here it is. Jill isn't smacking her kids, so she still has to find a way to bash her parenting. Come on, Mum of the Year. Oh, wow, she kept it up. Wow. I hope they did. She was inciting violence. She really was. All right, so here we go. Don't know how much longer this will be up there. Let's talk about obedience training. What do the experts say? Someone says there's no handbook to parenting. Obviously, Jill is not the same parent as Michelle. Sam did not obey. She laughed about it. She's doing her best to raise polite children. I have BD, so I have impulse control issues. I had to play those games as an adult because no one taught me as a kid. This isn't bad parenting. Oh, yeah, the police rant. The police rant was horrible.
Questions. Oh, sorry. I'm seeing a lot of questions about the post I made about Jill Dillard's obedience training. And I understand people are just seeing the video and they're like, oh, that's just so innocuous. There's nothing going on here. There's nothing to see here. This isn't a big deal. They're learning manners. And I understand I only have so many characters that I can explain things to, and I can't share everything in an Instagram post, but the whole thing with the obedience training that she shared is from Michelle Duggar's book.
Maybe if KJ interacted properly and spent more time with her child, he wouldn't have spent $1,000 online. Yes, I remember that. 46 hair, face touching. Ooh.
Okay. And in her book, she talks about how the kids are supposed to be obedient no matter what. So she goes through the different points that obedience has to be instant, because if you have to think about something, it's not obedience. So you're basically teaching your child that no matter what you say or do, they have to say yes and nothing. There's no questions. And that, in a child's mind that's just forming, can be very dangerous because they're not learning to discern right from wrong. They're only learning that, like, mom and dad are always right. And when you put that in the mind of a child, they're not learning any sort of critical thinking or really understanding why it is that they're doing something. So there's a lot of articles out there about why this this training is not helpful for children. Okay, you can Google why obedience training is not good for kids. It's not.
Great, KJ's voice came on and my cat jumped up and started to run away. Whoopsies. In my home, mum is always right. Well, that's right. And even if I'm wrong, I'm still right. Poor cat. Obedience. She hears the word obedience and then automatically thinks it's bad. She says, you put your dogs in obedience training. You don't do that with kids. Yes, manners are important. I fully support Jill with what she's doing with the boys. Obedience training them, IMO is wrong. Yes, I have kids. They have manners, respect for others. KJ, that is, I'm always right when it comes to my kids. KJ is always drunk when it comes to her son. So is she saying that if you say you can't go to the park, that they've got to argue with you and reason with you? If I say you can't go to the park, you can't go to the park. I shouldn't have to give you the reason because I'm the mum. If I don't want you to go somewhere, you don't go because I'm the mum. Hello, Jamie. I'm a teacher, and to me, this is how you model the behaviour you want to see. Practicing is how you learn to act, no different than practicing the classroom. My mum had a pillow we grew up with. I now lovingly have it It's called Mum Rules, Just Ask Dad. My mum is still right, and I'm in my 40s. Rules in the beginning of the school year. Did anyone else look at her eyes? Was it from alcohol or crying? Says feel the love. I don't know. Hey, my mum will still ring me up and ask for please explains. Even when Harrison makes up stories about me, my mother got on the phone and said, what's this I hear? And I'm going, what are you talking about, Mum? I just had a conversation with Harrison. Great. I always tell my children, because I'm the mum and you are the child, my daughter now says it to her daughters.
Like plain yes ma'am, no ma'am. No one's saying that it's wrong for a kid to be respectful. No one's saying that it's wrong for a kid to not listen to their parents. It's the manner in which that this is taught. So here's an article. I'll read it from you. It's called.
So, but how does she know that it's the manner it, my dad used to say, I brought you into this world, I can take you out of it. I gave you life and I rule. So because Jill used the word obedience training, it's automatically wrong. All I saw was kids learning to obey. And she wasn't grumpy when the child didn't obey. They laughed and joked about it. Mm-hmm. Hi, Elia.
Do you want do you want to raise an obedient child? And it's from Psychology Today, and it's written by Laura.
Of course, that is a great journal, Psychology Today. Right. You may as well be reading The Sun. No offense to Psychology Today. In my house, we have 2 rules. Mummy's always right. If in doubt, see rule run. Maybe Jill was just showing how she's able to homeschool and have rules set as foundation. But that's right, Sweet Teen Foundation. It always comes down to context. Again, we've seen this tiny little. Isn't she tired of being angry all the time? It takes so much energy to be mad, like poison in her body. I think that's what keeps her going. Her motivation. I think, Jamie. Would you please stop playing with your hair, someone says. Yes, before you come on camera, it's very distracting to the viewer. Doesn't bug me what other people do. I care more about what she's saying. Lots of people fidget in lots of ways. I think teaching respect is a huge part in parenting your child. Feel okay about challenging or questioning authority. It's okay for a child to have a say. If they've been taught respect, it's human nature to question things. Just because an adult says something or asks the child to do something doesn't mean the child has to agree. Teaching your child, this can be very dangerous for the child, especially if the child is vulnerable. But the child can say, exactly, psych today is trash pop psych. My mum used to say, because I said so, I shall do miss her. If her son was so obedient, he would go to sleep when he was told I wouldn't come into her office when she's working. Oh. Anyway, so she's reading from Psychology Today.
Markham, and she says, it may be dangerous to raise a child who automatically obeys. It says, most parents feel embarrassed when their child doesn't obey. When they say jump, they're supposed to jump, right? If they don't, isn't that evidence that
Anyway, can I just put something out there? How do I know what she's reading from? How do I know that she's reading from what she says she's reading from? Obviously, parents teach context. You should obey your parents, but you also teach your child stranger danger, not to obey adults who are telling you to do something wrong. And your children can question. But that doesn't mean that you can question. You can say, I don't want to do it. But at the end of the day, if it's over putting out the rubbish bin, you got to do it. But lo and behold, anyone questions her parenting. Different rules for different fools. there's, like at school, pick up that piece of paper. I don't want to. Well, the teachers ask you to do it. You pick it up. If in my home you see a door closed, you know to knock before entering a room. The same can't be said for those in cages. Well, that's right. And the thing is, I even knock on my kids' rooms now. Okay, we can start Yell at KJ. I feel my anger coming up. Seems like cleaning the popcorn coming up later. We haven't got to the really bad one yet. This is the calm one.
We're lousy parents. Actually, no. It would certainly be more convenient if our children responded to our raised eyebrow by jumping to it, but may even be dangerous to raise a child who swallows his objections and does what he's told without question. Here's why. It says obedient children grow into obedient adults. They're less likely to stand up for themselves and more likely to be taken advantage of. They're also capable of simply following orders without question, without taking responsibility for their actions. Even for children, unquestionable obedience isn't healthy. Here are a few situations that children I know have confronted in the past year. A 3-year-old was molested by an older child. A 5-year-old was molested by an older child. A 6-year-old screamed at up close person.
Oh, of course we're going to pick out. Of course we're going to pick out these ones, aren't we? Because we're going to pick out exceptions rather than the norm. Hey. I'm going to see what. Let me tell you, Miss Catherine, there is, because I know you like to Google, if you actually type in something called Google Scholar, it will actually allow you to look at journal articles. And you'll look at journal articles that have been written by professionals, commented by professionals, and are credible. And then when you start showing some credible, facts, we might be able to start talking and listening then, hey? Google Scholar. She's not insinuating teaching obedience later. I'm hoping not, Rosalind, but that's the impression I'm getting. Oops. I forgot to put my banner up. There we go. There's my banner. Into the wild blue. I think she should come with an automatic warning. There you go. All right, so I've just put up my viewer discretion sign.
An 8-year-old was bullied. An 11-year-old was recruited by the mean girls to participate in their behavior. A 12-year-old was offered drugs. A 14-year-old was date raped by a boy at a party. Are these children responsible for what happened to them? Of course not, and neither are their parents, no matter what. And if we had been able to say no louder, would these events still have unfolded as they did? Maybe, maybe not. We don't know. But we do know that bullies and molesters select targets who think won't stand up for themselves. We know that experts say children should be trained as to resist abductors. Research shows that teens are more resistant to peer pressure if they're used to asserting their opinions with their parents. The truth is, no parent can know what their child will have to face, so we can only give them the inner resources we can. One resource is the ability to stand up for themselves, to raise her voice, and refuse to go along with a person who's trying to take advantage of them. That doesn't mean you don't set limits.
Oh, dear me. I've just picked up. I've just gone into Google Scholar. and I'll show it to, I'm just going to send it to my computer. It's just it talks about the game, child game. Oh, it's going to come up here. You're going to see it. So it was, so this was, I've put obedience training affects children. And we've got parent-child interacting training effect on fame. So these are this one. So which one was it that I picked? Oh, it was this one, child training and game involvement. So I just want to show you. So I'm going to show you my screen. So this talks about, so this is a game involvement. So games are systematic cultural patterns in which distinctive, ancient, and widespread among children cultures in the world. So games may be grouped into 3 classes: games of physical skills, games of strategy, games of chance. So this is talking about the importance of games, playing games in the home. Mother, the pot boils over, stunts such as diving and juggling, model play such as with dolls, pets, toy trains. Even the child training variables are systematically related to classes of amusements as well. So anyway, just something to, there can be numerous children in a home, always the same, but one of them ends up in an abusive relationship. I was raised... Good morning, Kim. Oh, sorry that. The same way that she bullies the Duggars because she knows they won't stand up for themselves. So there was lots there. It's funny because the article that she's quoting from has not appeared, did not appear in the Google Scholar stuff. Funny that, eh? Am I saying that it's wrong? No. What I'm saying is it just wasn't there. And I've lost Instagram, would you believe? I've just lost it. Oops. All right. Where did we go? Oops. Unfortunately, I lost KJ. Isn't that sad? So it essentially annoys me that she keeps talking like that. You lost KJ. Oh, look, she won't consider it's lost. She'll consider myself. She'll call me a bully and say that I'm picking on her because I don't agree with her. Whenever I see KJ's name or face, I think of something I'm supposed to ignore. Okay, so let me get back to this because she was reading, wasn't she? It was reading time with KJ.
Experts say children should be trained to resist abductors. Research shows that teens are more resistant to peer pressure how do they learn how to do that? Experience. So they say every time your child comes to you when he's upset and you listen and take his concerns seriously. Every time you set a limit with empathy so you can acknowledge her view even when she can't get her way. Every time you look for a win-win solution instead of imposing your will. Every time you remind yourself that your baby, your toddler, your preschooler is a person in his own right with the right to his own preferences. Every time you say you're in charge of that decision or what do you think about that? Every time you calm yourself enough to say, I hear you think I'm being unfair. I really want to hear what you think.
No, you're 5 years old and jumping off the roof is not a very good idea. Mum, I want to jump off the roof. And how do you feel about that? It's going to be no. Hey, Rick. We're just all having our parenting done. Apparently, you're not supposed to tell your child you're right. KJ, parenting. But then how would you know if you can fly then, Joe? Well, because I'm mum, because I am the parent, I know that you can't. So, because I said so. Oh, yours turned 17 yesterday, Rick. Oh, fun times ahead. Oh, gravity. What goes up must come down. Oh. Too late for parenting. I'm done and dusted 24. Hey, I've still got a 21-year-old living at home. And still have conversations. But now now the conversations have changed because I said, I can't tell you what to do. I can advise you. She would have a heyday with my dad. I'm not your friend. I'm not your pal. I'm your father. Oh, yes, I heard that one too. I'm not supposed to be your friend. I'm your parent. Your reading have to do with criticism of the video you schedule. Well, that's right, because it doesn't have anything to do. Yes, I'm not here to be your friend. I'm here to be your Oh, dear.
Do a do-over and try respectful voices. Every time you remind yourself that force creates pushback. Every time your child objects, that you take your objection seriously. So if you're always thought that children should be obedient, I invite you to reconsider respectful and cooperative. Yes, absolutely. Kids grow up in a way when we listen to their thoughts, treat them with respect, and invite cooperation by working together for solutions. So that's from Psychology Today. And if you're in the public schools, they will teach you about teaching your child to stand up for themselves so that they have boundaries to say no. And when you teach a child to respect authority without any question, it puts your child in a situation where they can be ripe for abusers and bullies. And you don't want your child to be abused or bullied.
I don't know how many were on this live. I think there was about 160 something at one point. So I am just bought my own popcorn to throw at KJ. Does that mean your child can teach you like a pain in the butt since that's how you treat him?
Does it look good for a parent to have a child like that obeys them? Sure. But wait, what does the obeying child do more than anyone? Who does that serve? It serves the public image of the parent and the ego of the parent. For that.
Really? Oh. How does her parenting reflect her son buying $1,000 worth of phone games? Well, that's right. No, it's... And this is why her son... I love... Oh, by the way, I've paused it perfectly. This is why her son's scared of police. Badly set up parental controls. Oh, dear. Look at the pause, eh?
Them to know that their child will listen to them and do whatever they want. If you put that kind of control on the wrong person, it creates a dynamic where you have a situation like Jim Bob Duggar, who has trained his children to not say no to him, and look at where he's at with his kids. Look at what happened to his kids. Look at what happened with his daughters. They're taught not to say no. They're taught to obey, and their big brother is telling them to do things. You know what I mean? So you have to think of it in that context. You can look at Jill and say, oh, that's a cute game. But we shouldn't be teaching our children to just do what we say without any question. They should understand why we're asking them to do something. And they should.
Oh, so we need to have discussions and arguments. Okay, KJ, now I understand. You know you are despised. And you want us to despise your son. Not going to work, KJ. We feel sorry for him having the likes of you. Not going to lie, we were taught not to tell our mum no. If we did, it was wait until your father gets home. Yes. But I mean, but that a lot of that was for jobs around the house too. I mean, that was to do chores and stuff. You know, it wasn't. You've got a project to finish, Pia. Yeah, I've got to do some stuff too. I'm hoping there's no banging tomorrow because I've only got tomorrow to do my music recording because it's due tomorrow.
You should also understand the reasons for why we're doing things. Like, we're always talking to our son about standing up for himself. Like, how are you feeling? How does that make you feel?
Hang on. I thought he wasn't able to articulate his thoughts and feelings because he was autistic. Our household as well. Poor Dad, he copped it. Didn't even have time to close the door. Bam. Mum was on to him about us. Oh, the good old days, hey, Gail. We could say no if we had a valid reason. Otherwise, we jumped when we were told. Well, I mean, we used to always try and get out of the dishes. We'd always say that we had homework. And it was then we'd actually have to go get our books and show how much homework we had. And if we had the least amount of homework, we couldn't get out of it. So, yeah, we could try. I was raised to do chores and my kids the same. My eldest thanks me for it. So here's a question for you. So she says her son's autistic. So I didn't think they could articulate their feelings or their emotions. And now she's saying that they ask him, how does this make you feel? How can he do that if he can't brandish his emotions? I'm just putting it out there. I'm not asking questions. He said, I hope he has a communication board. There are so many helpful things. Well, don't forget, didn't she say also they had to do they did red light, green light. They did traffic lights with him in a live before where there was a red zone and a green zone. So essentially, she's doing the exact same thing as Jill, except it's different. Oh, depends on where he's on the spectrum. Okay, Pia. All right, see, I don't really know a lot about autism, but as such, the only interaction I know is interaction with Harrison, and quite often he knows he's angry, but he doesn't know why he's angry or upset. He can't articulate the why. So this is why I'm having trouble understanding her conversation, because, you know, he just knows that he's feeling angry. We've also heard him talk and he's able to understand, she exaggerates. So if she's using zones with him, zones is the same way as going, yes, ma'am. This is red zone. Yes, ma'am. You can't. But anyway.
We talk about feelings, about things. We also want him to be able to explore and stick up for himself if he's in a situation where something's not right. It's not a bad thing for your kid to develop critical thinking and to want to do better. I think there's just so much. Kids are people. They're not dogs. We don't need to train them. There's another article too by the Foundation for Economic Education, and it says obedience training is unfit for children. It says children who are trained to be obedient are often busy either trying to stay in good books or feel too misunderstood and defensive to think things through clearly, including their actions, how their actions affect other people. Their motivation is to evade punishments rather than do what feels right. Authoritarian parenting conditions children to believe that they should do what they're told, whether they like it or not, whether it feels good or not, and to not talk back.
Hey, I used to talk back. It didn't get me anywhere. I still had to do it.
It's difficult for most adults to challenge authority figures if you weren't allowed to challenge your own parents. Obedience training can lead to susceptibility to being unduly influenced by peers or authority figures as children, adolescents, and later as adults. So nobody's judging her. I'm just really talking about.
Nobody's judging her, really? But how is training your child to say yes, ma'am, a courtesy, same as training them to say yes all the time? Key to explaining to the child why. She's an idiot. Psychologists don't even agree with each other. She picks out anything that fits her narrative. Frida and her son don't mix. She said that several times. But then she says she's not challenging. She's not judging. Well, she was judging.
This training, and the reason why we're bringing up this training is because this training comes directly from Michelle and Jim Bob, and it comes directly from the cult because the cult wants.
But there's no proof that that's what Jill was doing.
Wants children to obey without thinking. I mean, Michelle even says in her book that
the O is long, so it's Minasutan. Sutan. Wonder why KJ doesn't understand that she isn't going to find out how to parent from an online article. Gee, if there were online articles, we'd all be great parents, wouldn't there? KJ, if this was your son, you would get rid of your dog since your son doesn't like her.
She says that if it doesn't happen immediately, it's not obedience. And it's the same book in the same chapter where she talks about corporal punishment. So, the game she even talks about is yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. I'm so happy the game goes on until everyone has been asked to do some fun, quick command at least a couple times. The ones with lots of energy get the running exercises like Justin walk quickly around the dining room table 10 times. Why do you think it was so easy for the Duggars to convince the kids that they had no other options? They couldn't go to school. They couldn't go to college. They had to stay in this house. They had to stay on the show. They had to stay in this world because it started at when
they had to stay in this world. Is there another world that we can fly to? I don't think that's what she meant. I think she means the fundy world, but just the way that she said it. She started to curse in Danish. I want to fly to another world. I was always taught manners and respect, but also encouraged to have my own thoughts, to questions, and have discussions. Well, yes, I think that's important. Like, to question. Oh boy, just the way that she said, "Stay in this world." And it doesn't change if you're a young adult child wants to live under parents' roof. It's their rules, or you leave. My closet is broken. Well, there you go. As I said, I'm certain that's not what she was talking about. She was talking about something different, but it was just the way that she came, just the way she said it. Oh boy, that's why they've had to stay in this world.
When they were babies, with the parents telling them that they couldn't say no to their parents. And then they can't question authority. It's really important. So I'm just here to tell you that this is kind of what people say about obedience training, and you can Google the harmful effects of obedience training for children.
No, I'd rather read scholar articles that have been written by professionals, not by some trashy stuff. Thank you very much. Scholar. Google Scholar. I'm from the Midwest. To be fair, KJ lives in some other world where everything is a lie. Oh, I get it. We live in the real world.
I have compassion for Jill. She grew up in a cult. She needs to unlearn these things, but you should also be able to call something out if you see it. So if you see something that is from the cult and you see the person still doing that, and you know that this is how she was taught, and look at how it got her into a lot of situations.
Is she victim blaming? Is she alluding to the fact that what happened to her, to Jill, was because she couldn't say no to her brother, and therefore it's her fault? Is that what she's alluding to? Got her into situations? She's not, is she? Tell me she's not. Please tell me I heard that wrong. Shame.
Doing that, and you know that this is how she was taught, and look at how it got her into a lot of situations that made things kind of harmful for her.
She did. She did. Got herself into situations. She's just blamed Jill. You silly cow, KJ. Oh no, sorry. I didn't mean to say that. This is what happens when I don't watch. You get my full reaction. How dare you victim blame?
And we should want better. And she should have gentle reminders. Hey, this came from your mom.
Has gentle...
your kids learn to say no and to learn to listen to you. You know what I mean?
So now not only is she blaming the victim, she's blaming the mum and saying it's because, laughing so much my tears are running. Well, I'm glad that you're laughing because I just... I used to... Jill was the one that told her parents what had happened, so Jill did have a voice.
I'm sure they are checking up on their parenting too. So our children are not for us to control. Our children are their own beings. Our children are autonomous to us.
Hang on. How do they learn if they're not taught? You're swearing in French, gingerly. Oh, boy. Well, I'm part German. Osmosis. I'm part German and Scottish. And Aussie. And the German and the Scottish are from the same side of the family, too. Yeah. Oh, that's all right. Power puppets.
Our children have thoughts and feelings and emotions. Our children are not our property. Period. As much as we love our kids, we don't own them. They have to grow up and become adults, and they need to be able to function in the real world. And in the real world, you get to sometimes say no, or you get to stand up for yourself.
But I gave birth to them. Surely they're mine. Admittedly, I did try to return my son to the doctor that delivered him when he was 2, but the doctor wouldn't take refunds. He says to me, no, take your refunds. No, my doctor had a sense of humor.
So there's a lot of growth left for her. She's working really hard, but this is definitely something that needs to be talked about. We don't train children. Children need to be taught and shown.
Hang on. We don't train children, but children need to be taught. How are they taught if they're not trained? Or am I just trying to be logical here? Oh, thank you, Pia. Thank you very much. I can't thank you. That is just very generous of you, Pia. Thank you very much. You are, please, KJ, up. So,
real world, you get to sometimes say no, or you get to stand up for yourself. So there's a lot of growth left for her. She's working really hard, but this is definitely something that needs to be talked about. We don't train children. Children need to be taught and shown and modeled and learn and understand emotion.
Oh boy, we do train. Even at the beginning, we potty train. No, we just leave paper down and they work it out themselves. Apparently, because we can't tell them what to do because, you know.
Listen, it's okay for them to say no. I would want a friend to tell me if I was doing something frustrating might be harmful. I think it's good to acknowledge that it's great that she left the cult, but that we still have room to grow. Exactly.
This is dangerous stuff.
So I'm gonna just put this up on the Instagram, and you can watch this afterwards. I just think you need to be able to learn to question things. Exactly. Based on psychology research, correct. I like to use Psychology Today. I also like to use, when it comes to children, childhood development, I like to use the American Academy of Pediatrics as a source. I like to just look at scientific research.
No, you don't. You just look at rags.
And what it says about child rearing and whether or not these are effective. And, I mean, if research shows that this kind of training puts a child at risk for bullying and at risk for a predator like a pedophile, you should maybe not want your child to be that obedient, right? So I'm not frustrated with Jill. I'm frustrated with the cult. This is a really not a cool, this is a technique to teach submission. Okay? So I've got one more video coming up if you are waiting, and it should be up soon. Bye, guys.
Wow, there you go. Not okay for a child to tell his mum no when they are told to do something. That's just it. We're just all horrible parents by the looks of it. She likes to look at scientific research, doesn't know biology, like we all have different DNA, for example. We all have the same DNA. We're all related. Same for telling them not to play in traffic. Let them just figure it out. Finally caught alive. Yeah. KJ's cold. All right. Anyway, there's still more. Is that another video? Oh, no. She's got more Sister Wives. So she was on a Sister Wives rant today. Fortunately, she didn't go near her research is more like ignorance to the 100 good ones. This part from Sister Wives drove me batty. He's complaining that he can't enjoy it. No. All right. So this comment on my YouTube channel is accurate AF. Aurora's panic attack was more important to Cody than necessary surgery for Isabel to ensure she doesn't suffer nerve damage. So this is, but Robin's daughter, who has anxiety attacks, is in much worse shape. Cody literally picked her up and carried her out, but he cannot be there for his own biological daughter with Christine through a very dangerous, scary, painful surgery and recovery. Christine should leave. He's narcissistic for that reason and reason alone. I hope he saw how Isabel reacted to the whole situation. She needs a daddy. He's too much of a jerk to care. Yesterday, they announced yesterday in the States that anyone can get the vaccine now. Mrs. Science is still waiting. Apparently so. Needs to do of King as Killjoy the Clown from the Killjoy. Oh dear. She's waiting for her letter. Jeremy read Ginger's chapter on Instagram Live. Does he ever just let her talk or do anything? His domineering attitude, literally nothing groundbreaking here. No real tea. Maybe she had lost her voice and couldn't talk. I don't know. Maybe she didn't want to read on camera. So now, look at this. You got demonetized. YouTube has temporarily removed one of the most popular creators from its partner program. She says the creator responsibility policy says if we see that a creator on and or off-platform behavior harms our users, community, employees, or ecosystem, we may take action to protect the community. It goes on to say that YouTube may take action against creators who intend to cause malicious harm to others or who use real-world harm via abuse, violence, cruelty, or fraudulent deceptive behavior. So that was her, that's all her Instagrams for today. And the president announcement did not mention her by name. I thought she would have expected. I thought she was. So she's still waiting for the personal invitation from the president. Is she? Maybe it's Trump's fault. Trump's got the blame for everything else. This is it. Is this the first or second one? I'm just seeing if I can grab the other one that I didn't get the other day. I've got it here. I've got it on my phone. I've just got to send it to myself again. It's funny. I uploaded it to YouTube, but after 6 hours on Australian internet, it still hasn't uploaded yet. How's that? Because I thought I don't have enough space on my computer to save these. I'll just put them on YouTube. It says there's 49 minutes left. Yeah, so it's pretty the one I'm going to show you now is the one that I send in to myself at the moment is the one that was part 2 from this was Sunday night's one. It says it's failed. It's not sending because it's telling me I don't have enough space on my computer. All my KJ stuff, eh? It's just filling up my computer. Yeah, that one's the trigger. Oh, yeah, it's another trigger one. I'm just trying to see how I can send it to myself. They're all trigger ones these days, Gail. They're anything but. That's going to be my standard disclaimer these days. So I don't know what else to do because I just assume she's going to trigger everything. I'm going to see if someone's done it for me. I know it's beeping at KJ. More trigger coming up. There is somebody else that may have done it, may have got it. There's about 2 or 3 people that upload content regularly, which is really good. I hope you saw my little I hope you liked my little thumbnail, the circle of Insta. I think this was it. I think this one's it. think. Hello, Lexi. Thank you for becoming a member.
I'm convinced that Christy.
This is it. Yep. Got it. Thank you to All Things Sassy. Thank you for becoming a member. So this one is based on Sister Wives. And then she goes back onto, yes, you are a member now. Thank you, Lexi. And then she goes, somebody asks her about if she's going to do a live on YouTube. She blocks that member. And then she's told, then somebody else says something. She says she's only speaking about Sister Wives. And then she goes back onto Jeremy Volo to gently remind people have been commenting about on her live and telling she's deleting comments that have a different opinion. Yes, she does. Welcome to the choir. Mm-hmm. Cool. Yep, you get music next to your name now. All right. This one comes with the disclaimer. And also, when she did this, it was after she had viewed it. And I remember somebody else said, we haven't seen it yet. And that person got blocked as well. And she turns off comments because people are saying, hey, we haven't seen it yet because it hasn't shown here. What are you talking about? And of course, she doesn't care. All right, so here we go.
Is going to leave him. Like, I'm honestly convinced that it's over. This whole season has been really weird. Finished watching it because it's already up on.
And it was all jumping around and everything.
Go or Discovery. And then Robin says no. Janelle says no. Cody's in his confessional laughing and mocking her and saying it's not my fault. You can't hear me. Can you hear me?
Unfortunately, yes.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, there was no... Oh, this is viral. It says PR. Yeah. No, there was no spoiler warning, and she should have given a spoiler warning. Someone says, "See, I am watching it right now," and she doesn't care. It just says circle manuscript. Anyway, the other thing is, did anyone notice the new emoji that was added? You probably can't see it. There's a tiny little emoji that says Russia isn't China.
Well, if you don't want to know, this is a spoiler.
Oh, she says it's now. She says it now. This is a spoiler, so it's taken a minute in.
But then if you don't want to know, Leah, then just leave this live. Because I want to talk about it.
If you don't want to listen to it, just leave. Because past 72 hours, Kojo's insulted several religions: the gay, the black, the white, the hetero, the police, the general public, parents, and aren't like her. Anyone else left? Well, now she's attacking the Browns. She's also attacked the Duggars and anyone associated with the Duggars. She hasn't attacked the president yet. Yeah. So I hope the Russia isn't China symbol looks really cool. I've got to do one that says I'm worth more than my uterus. And I've got to do one that says that we all have the same DNA. So, yeah, I'll get them done. So we'll have them all as little emojis. Yeah.
So let me start this over again. Hey guys, I hope you guys are having a good night. And sister wives, if you of that episode, Leah, honestly, just don't watch. I'm going to spoil it for you. This is a spoiler. Okay, so spoiler alert. The season finale just aired. It's probably still on, but you can check it out if you want on Discovery, the Discovery Plus. And the whole episode was kind of a mess. Not a whole lot got resolved. Janelle brought everyone together to the property, and they were going to talk about communication. And they don't really come down to anything. They talk about, all the struggles that they've been having and how they don't feel like.
She has 72 in her live, despite having 31,000 followers on Instagram. Joe, you have 88 in your live. Yeah, I average about 10%. I seem to get about 10% of my viewers, which is like of my. Sorry, I think I'm on 1.196. I need 4 more subscriptions to get to 1.2. So if you haven't subscribed, if you could. And I get around 100. So that's pretty good. That's pretty good odds for me. I actually got excited when I had 20 people watching. I still get excited.
Like they're heard and what they need to feel like to feel safe in these conversations. And he was an a-hole, an absolute a-hole. He 1,000% told them that he didn't care, that he didn't see the family in his future, that he was struggling to feel like the family mattered to him because in his like.
Yeah, but you have viewers all over and pretty decent replay stats. Yes, I hit the like on the way in. Cool, thank you.
Mind, he literally said that, like, you are getting in the way of my goals. And for some reason, Mary, for years, has just been sitting there because she doesn't want to be a quitter. And I have some thoughts about all of this, which I'll get to at the very end. But anyways, it's very clear that his relationship with Mary is over. She even admits it at the end. His relationship with Christine is over. And it's pretty clear that his relationship with Janelle is about to be over. And his only relationship is with Robin. And I don't think he gives a crap because I think that's the only place he wants to be. And so there's all this stuff going on. Like, Isabel has to have her surgery. And he is so arrogant. This poor girl is living in an 8 or 9 in pain, like daily, for months. And he doesn't want her to go because he doesn't want her to have it during COVID because he can't be there. Not even considering that Isabel was in such pain and he had no idea.
No, Jamie says, for an expert on reality TV, she doesn't really understand this is all for ratings and she doesn't know what their real lives look like. Yeah, because she made this thing in one of her lives recently to say that reality TV was faked. I haven't seen the episode because I don't have Foxtel in Australia, so it's not on in Australia. I can sort of see why he wouldn't want it done because he can't be there. I know, for example, for a lot of hospitals here, you can only have one visitor. Even now, you can only have, some hospitals let you have one visitor a day. Some only let you have 2 visitors for 2 hours a day. When Mum was in hospital, she could have 2 visitors for a maximum of 2 hours a day because of COVID. If he wanted to be there, I could understand why he wanted them to wait. I've got a 2012 Apple Mac. And yeah, I need to get a new one. She probably thinks soap operas are real, probably. I've never watched them until what? I blame Joe for my time warp now. Oh, let's do the time walk again. Anyway, so I understand how he would feel a bit left out, not being able to be there for her surgery if it was due to COVID. So I sort of get that. before it breaks.
Like the pain that she was in. Like he had no clue. And I think that might have been like maybe the wake-up call for her, because it's like he doesn't even know what his daughter's going through. And then in the middle of this immense pain, and if any of you have had spinal pain, you should know that scoliosis is horrifically painful. And so
and she knows that I'm not trying to say that she wasn't in a lot of pain, but she's saying it's horrifically painful. I'm waiting for her to say that she's had it or something. No, I didn't see the timer with Tenacious D.
She's going through all of this. And I think that was the final breaking point for her, because Cody says that he's not going to be with them. He tries to convince Isabel to delay her surgery. He makes her fall down like in despair because of the amount of pain that she's in, thinking that she's going to travel by herself, telling her you should go by yourself. And then Christina's like, no, honey, you're not going to go by yourself. I'm not going to let you go by yourself. I'm going to be there. And then he leaves and he doesn't hug her. There's no kiss. There's nothing. And it's like the two of them are done at that point. And then they have a talk about going to Utah. And he is like playing her in this entire conversation. And he is like, in a way, like toying with her emotions, saying, well,
oh, finally. Oh, she's muted.
making her believe ship was over and she wasn't going to get what she wants. And the conversation goes terribly. Janelle says that there's literally nothing for her in Utah. She's not going to move to Utah. Robin is typical Robin and says she's not going to move to Utah. Cody's being a complete and utter ass. So after he convinced...
I find listening to K. He's okay. Well, there was a lot of families, in where there was the two-parent home, where there had been splits. Even here, there were issues with trying to maneuver between locations. All of this last summer when it was happening, why is she rehashing it? I don't know, Jamie, because she... Is it surprisingly beautiful? Yes, I've got a Discord. So if you just join my Discord, that's where you get it's where we have that's where all the information's at these days. We know she wants to be the fifth. Was it in this one? Or was it in the live that we watched last night? Or was it it might have been in this one. Or was it, I've just seen one recently where somebody says to her about Todd and Cody looking the same. And she said, no, they don't look alike. Todd's got different type of hair or something like that. And it might be this one, which I thought was hilarious. And have steak beehives on this. Wow, do they?
This is her to bring this up to the wives. He then rolls over her and basically says, I'm not going to move to Utah. I can't go there. After giving her a sliver of hope, making her believe it was an option, encouraging her to bring this up to her sister wives to have this conversation, I think she literally just had this aha moment. And it's Robin who says finally, like, I'm not going to do this to my kids. She starts bawling. Cody's sitting there being completely arrogant. And Mary, I think, knew exactly what was about to happen because they said to her, are you going to move? Like, are you going to go without us? And she said, I don't know. I might. And Mary suddenly grabs her, pulls her up, and wants her to look at the mountain. And she's like, I'm not going to look at the mountain. And Mary's like, you can't be a quitter. You're not this many years into this relationship to leave this family.
Yes, Gail. Gail, you should recap in the whole season. I think that was this was Sunday's rant. So this was after Sister Wives. So this was Sunday night. The rant that we just saw about parenting was Mondays. So I've just played them out of order. Her new audience is starting to get a taste of the real KJ, and it tastes like a foot.
You can't do this.
Hello,
like Mary is so damn miserable, and the only thing that is keeping her there is that she isn't a quitter, and Christine is just placating her. And she literally says to Mary, I don't want what you have with Cody. I want something different. Maybe it's not quitting. Maybe it's something else. And I think Christine realizes that walking away doesn't mean quitting. It means she's picking herself finally. And I'm sitting here and I'm like, oh my gosh, what is going on here? Right? So she finally, at the very end of the episode, she's like telling Mary's like, just, you can't make this decision right now. You're in anger. You're in sadness. You can't make these thoughts and your feelings. And I'm sitting there thinking, Mary, this is horrible advice. Just because you're miserable and you didn't quit doesn't mean that she needs to stay and be miserable and stay in this crappy situation just because she's not a quitter. If you really cared about your sister wife, and she...
Oh, I took the Patreon's link down, so I don't know what... yeah, I don't have that anymore. So okay, I have to look at that. KJ got caught rotten yesterday snooping. T-Spiracy put up a new merchant post, and when the T-shirt showed a pic of Toad, KJ reposted and threatened a lawsuit. T-Spiracy did it as a joke. Yes, it was hilarious, actually. I saw that. She did it as a bit of a joke, and within half an hour, KJ had bitten. And also threatened her with a cease and desist and said that that an image of her husband could not be used because she didn't own the image of her husband, and that if she took her to court that she would win. The wording was really quite funny. I've got that. Let me see whether this will let me take it to... I think I took a picture of it. Go. Put it here, so let me get this for you. It was rather amusing. Here it is. Here's a screenshot of it. Because funnily enough, it disappeared from her Instagram when she realized that she'd missed out, when she'd realized she'd been done. So this is what the post says. So this says, Todd, come get your gal. And it's so it says, hey, T-Spiracy, I'm pretty sure using someone's likeness for profit on a shirt is a violation of copyright rules. You don't own my husband's image and don't have legal rights to put his face on a shirt. I'd suggest you scrap this before you hear from my lawyer. According to the law, a business cannot use an image of someone without their consent or permission. We can file a lawsuit against you for misappropriation of likeness. We can also file a lawsuit for false light and invasion of privacy. Putting a filter on my husband's face is not transformative. Due to precedents in the law, we would win this lawsuit. Please cease and desist. Thanks. So that's what she said. So that was the post that she did. And that was actually T-Spiracy put that in as a joke. Just to see, T-Spiracy said that she did it just to see whether whether it would be noticed. And it was noticed within half an hour. You're gonna KJ has no right to say that since the image wasn't hers. Oh, you're going to misappropriate an image of Rico's. KJ has some good points, and within a blink of an eye, she twists things. Yeah. No, Teespiracy was never actually going to actually the T-shirt. If you actually click on the link, the T-shirt, that T-shirt was never there. So so it was never there. So she just put that image in there as part of the merch. So anyway,
she's really feeling like that, and she doesn't want to do this, I would say, go. Her mom is there. She's got her daughter McKelty there. She's got her sister. Her mom is there. Her sister's there. Her dad is.
So Ballistic, she listed in Charlotte's live. I think we all wanted to buy that shirt. Yeah. So I think Teespiracy was advertising new merch, and she put in a T-shirt with Todd's face that says, "Todd, come get your girl." And KJ made this big post on Instagram. The joke is on KJ, yeah, because she was caught snooping. Maybe I could do that. Maybe I need to sell a dartboard with her face on it. Oh, you know how you can get those? You know how you can get those training things that you can put in the water of the toilet so that little boys can learn to aim properly? Maybe we need to put one with her face on it. I think she needs to start now. Just leave Todd's face on it. Oh, that's okay. I'm telling you, KJ is Killjoy the Clown.
Her dad is like really, really sick, and she wants to be there with her dad. And she wants to be there with her dad. And suddenly, at the very end of all of it, like she's just like, I don't want to do this. I don't want what Mary has. Mary might be okay with that life, but that's not the life that I want. And I honestly think in real life, in real time, they're not together. Because this entire season, she has not one time talked about the show. She hasn't live tweeted. She hasn't said a word. In the fall, it was in October, after Isabel's surgery.
So, because she hasn't tweeted or shared a photo of Cody means they're not together. The only way KJ could have seen that post by T is if she subbed to Teespiracy because it was on the community tab. Yes. Drinkers.
He took his name off of the house, and he doesn't own that property with her anymore. And one of the things that they always had the story about was that they all had to have an asset so that they could cash out, right? I think, this is just my hunch, that this marriage...
No, Russia isn't China merch, isn't in danger.
marriage is over because she hasn't said anything. Everything on her social media has been vague. She never talks about him. She's always with her family. McKelty just had a baby, and Cody was again nowhere to be seen. She has finally picked her girls for the first time, and her son for the first time in her life. And I hope that this is true. Like, I hope she's finally going to leave him, because honestly, I don't even pray, you guys, but I have been sending out energy to the world for her to leave him.
I don't pray, you guys, but I've been sending out energy. She's agnostic. She's not atheist. Atheists wouldn't send energy out into the world. An agnostic would, though. Okay, Jay, what are we going to do with you? Why is it okay for KJ to speculate on other people's marriage, but we can't speculate on hers? Aren't they all public figures? True. Yes, well, particularly if Toad's... Isn't he supposed to be writing for a new album that's supposed to be released? I don't want her energy. We need a shirt that says, yes, you can get a UTI. For some reason, KJ is exempt from everything.
Because I know that she has family that will support her. It's so different for her than it is for any of these other wives. Her mom left polygamy. Her aunt, Kristen Duggar, left polygamy. Like, her daughters are not polygamists. Like, she can do this. She has the ability to do this, and she doesn't have to stay with him because she's miserable and because it's a requirement. And I think there's enough people in her life that are probably giving her better advice than Mary. And I think, Mary, you don't have to stay. Staying in the situation, Mary, is because you don't want to quit. It just makes everything look, it just.
Does she not realize that there's still a pandemic going on? She's very critical of people moving around and not wearing masks and everything, but now she's critical of Cody because he hasn't been going from house to house or spending time with McAlty when she had her baby or doing this or doing that. It's still a pandemic.
Your life is too short to be stuck in a situation where you're being treated so poorly by a man that doesn't give a crap about you.
Oh, that's how your subs feel, isn't it?
Demeans and degrades and calls you names and says that you're not lovable. Like, I hope. So in October, going back to this, Cody took his name off of her house. And she had to take out a mortgage. And they had previously purchased this house cash. And I think she might have given him whatever equity she had. And I don't think they're together. They don't interact. He has been nothing but rude about her on Twitter. He has said nothing good about her this entire season in any of his interviews. He has said nothing good about her on Twitter. Literally the only wife that he ever defends anymore is Robin. And there was somebody that posted that they said Robin might be pregnant right now. So that's what happened. I'm sorry I had to turn the comments off just because I wanted to be able to tell the story and not get...
She had to turn the comments off, people. She had to turn the comments off. Back to Harry Potter, less chatty. You're leaving us for Harry Potter, Rick. So she turned the comments off because people were talking. Because people were having their own conversations and not looking at me. Being joyfully unavailable is making her big time mad and nasty, just saying.
Distracted by all the everything moving up and down. I can sometimes get really distracted. So you can check out the entire episode, but it was, I'm pretty sure that she's done.
She's pretty sure. She's pretty sure. Okay.
And I hope she is. I really hope she is. I love Christine. I've loved seeing her grow. I've loved seeing her become confident and find her voice and find her space. And
oh, by the way, Rick edited my video yesterday. Thank you, Rick. Did you notice that there was no jumping at all? You would be, in fact, I knew that Claire you would not actually know the section that was actually there was about a 3-4 minute section that actually had to be cut out because it was dead air. I actually had to leave recording, run downstairs, come back up, and you would not even pick it. And yet we know what the editing that KJ does. So I think Rick needs to go teach her how to edit. So thank you, Rick.
Mary needs to just really Christine could have a cooking show. Anyways, that's what I have for tonight. Discovery Plus.
So she's 14:46. She's at 14 minutes in. She says that's all I've got for tonight. And yet this goes for 48 minutes.
So she doesn't have to get a divorce because they're not legally married. I don't think that specifically, I don't know.
Oh, here we go. There's a comment. It says, do you have a comment about the fact that your husband looks very similar to Cody? Rumor has it you want to be Cody's next wife. Any comment, KJ? And she does answer it.
I think she's done, and I hope she is done. I think he just wants to be with Robin, honestly. He was even rude to Janelle. Like, he was even, like, mocking her and being sarcastic about their raging romance. I don't know if any of you caught that. He was like, yeah, we'll be fine, our raging romance. And he's, like, he's talking to the, what do you call it, the confessional, and he's basically like, I don't want to dampen her parade and make her feel bad. So I'm not going to tell her what I'm really thinking. And I think that Christine will thrive without him. And I hope she does leave him. I hope this is the end. I hope she realizes that she's worth more than this. And I think...
I hope she realizes she's worth more than this. I thought she was going to say, I hope she realizes she's worth more than the uterus.
I don't think Janelle has left. Janelle hasn't left him. They're still interacting. They're still talking on their social medias. They're still acting very married on online. It's done. And if one of the wives leaves him, no, I do not want to marry him. And my husband does not look like Cody. So my husband has, like, really barbery, wiry hair.
There you go. Her husband has really barbery, wiry hair. But so does Cody. She's stalking all their social. She sounds like she's stalking all their social media. So she answered it. No, she does not want to be. There could be an opening.
Who kissed him at the funeral? Oh, Janelle kissed Cody at the funeral. Yeah. I mean, I think, like, they're tied together because of their kids. And I think, like, because they're a family, they're going to be there for those big moments. But I don't think that they're in a relationship anymore. I don't.
Yeah, I think that is complimenting her husband. Like, she goes, and besides, he's got wiry hair. She didn't say no, they're nothing alike. She just commented about the difference in the hair.
Deidre, Deidre, her mom left her dad.
So someone just said that she won't leave. She says, they won't leave because their religion won't let them. They believe they won't get into heaven if they don't stay together. So Cody, run. We need a Toad and Cody mash up by T-spiracy. So she's about to have a go at Deirdre. So just to repeat, Deirdre said they won't leave because their religion won't let them. They believe they won't get into heaven if they don't stay together. And then here's the response.
Oh, Janelle kissed Cody at the funeral. Yeah. I mean, I think, like, they're tied together because of their kids. And I think, like, because they're a family, they're going to be there for those big moments. But I don't think that they're in a relationship anymore. I don't. Deidre, Deidre, her mom left her dad. Christine's mother left her father. She has literally people in her life that have left polygamy that are very close to her that can certainly tell her that everything that she's learned is a lie. And I'm pretty sure she's got daughters that are telling her this too.
Someone else says, I was looking up your husband's guitar and I saw someone compare him to Chris Watts. That was crazy. She's going to tell them to stop talking about her husband soon. Oh, stop the lights. KJ said her husband had wiry hair. She previously said only black people have wiry hair. So she's setting this up to try and claim he has black genes. Maybe.
And I just don't see them being together. Yeah. Anyways, we're not really going to talk about my husband, but that's what I had for tonight.
Oh, we're really not going to stop. We're not really going to talk about my husband. So it's 17 minutes, and we're told that's all I've got for tonight.
And I don't know what your thoughts are, but that's how I feel. Yeah, I mean, even Christine's kids are done with him. But yeah, Christine's mom has left polygamy, and I don't think that it's her daughters want her to leave. It's just that her daughters are not going to live that life, and I think their daughters. You have to understand, in polygamy, these wives are not with their husbands very much. They're single mothers. They're basically the dads are sperm donors, and I think that you have to realize that the picture that you see on TV is not the reality for these people.
Dads are only sperm donors, hey?
The moms are with the kids 99.9% of the time. The dads move in and move out. They're not involved in the decision making. They don't really have anything to do with the education. There's a reason why Cody always calls them Janelle's kids, Christine's kids, Mary's kid, because he didn't raise them. He's like he moves in the night. He's there for a couple hours a week. You're not really a dad.
Oh, these dads sound like you. You aren't involved in anything to do with your son. Is what someone said. The name is Stop Blocking Me, KJ. Says those dads sound like you. You aren't involved in anything with your son.
Christine hasn't moved yet, but I don't think you'd have to move to be like, you know.
And then Stop Blocking KJ says, you're not really a mum. Okay, Jay, then that means you were just an incubator for your son, says Claire. It's really sad that KJ cannot answer civilly on a chat like an adult. She's also smug, pretentious, and condescending, says KJ, who sits on the internet all the time. Do you know Mother still stayed in touch with her sister wives? So I don't know what she's talking about. Did she? Okay. Yeah, she refers to her son as a kid.
Done. Christine and Cody have 6 children together. He doesn't refer to them as his kids. The only kids that he calls our kids are Robin. He calls Robin's kids his kids. And he calls Robin's house his house. It's so obvious that he's only with Robin, really. Because he literally refers to Robin's house as Robin, as his house. He calls Christine's house, Janelle's house, Janelle's kids, Christine's kids, Mary's kid. The only kids that he calls his own are Robin. And yeah, Isabel is in her senior year, and Truly is, I don't even know.
KJ's husband is her Wi-Fi connection, says Sweet Tea. But one of the brown children will be in a... hello, yeah. Yeah, it doesn't seem like any of the brown kids will be in a polygamous marriage.
11?
Yes, you can, Eileen. You can hear her. You can hear her. You can hear her tap the screen as she's blocking people. Block, 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 block. I like this title though. KJ IG Live. Another one bites dust. Catherine knows all.
But I don't know what Robin wants. I think Robin was a monogamist before she married Cody, and I don't think she ever knew how to share. And I don't think that Robin ever really had a chance with the family. I honestly feel like Robin and Cody are both narcissists. And honestly, it felt like when Robin said, I'm not going to do this for my kids, that was like the moment for Christine where she just knew it was done, because if Robin's not going to do it, Cody's not going to do it. You know that Robin's not going to do it. If Robin doesn't want it, Cody's not going to do it.
Someone says, did you see there was another shooting today? So remember, that this was Sunday. So this is in regards to the FedEx one. And she totally and utterly dismisses it because it doesn't fit her narrative. She should have said, yes, how tragic, but she doesn't. Watch what she says.
You guys have to remember that the only reason that they moved to Utah or to Arizona to begin with was because of Dayton. He was going to go to school there. They didn't just move there for the fun of it. It was literally because Dayton was going to school there, and Robin didn't want to have him go to school there by herself. She didn't want him to live there by himself. So she literally uprooted the whole family and moved them all to Flagstaff. Yeah, I saw that there was 2 today, but I'm not going to address any stuff going on beyond that. This is just a Sister Wives live stream. So if there's other things that are happening in the world, I haven't had a chance. My husband told me about that kind of stuff, but I'm definitely not going to talk about that tonight.
Doesn't fit my narrative. That's right. Janelle's mum married Cody's father. Up until her death, she stayed with Sister Wives on the farm. Okay. Just come up with a reason of how she's associated to that shooting before she talks about it. What was all that about her niece and nephew? Never heard this before. She said that her niece and nephew were black. But somebody said that it was their great niece and nephew, not a niece and nephew, but I don't know.
Not going into any socio-political stuff right now, not talking about anything beyond Sister Wives. I came on to talk about Sister Wives. Yes, she had 3 children, Dayton, Aurora, and oh my gosh, another A name. I can never remember her other daughter's name. And then they have Solomon and Ariella. And somebody saw her, actually. I just saw this. Someone sent this to me. And it says that, like, this is from a Sister Wives group.
She has people because she's blocked from all the because she's blocked from all the Reddits. She has people send her stuff. The reason he calls them Janelle's kids, Robin's kids, Mary's kids, and Christine's kids is because the audience won't know which kids go with which mother. Oh, you know what? That's a very good point, Jean. Nothing else. No. That's right. That's a big statement to make. Yes, as I said, I don't know. I mean, the night before, she talked about how her parents were abusive. No, they moved to Flagstaff because they were going to be jailed in their prior town. Flagstaff was the only place they could get property.
So take this for what it's worth. But apparently, Cody and Robin were in Flagstaff, and Robin is pregnant. I don't know if this is true, but this is from a Sister Wives group, and they said her friend told her. So that's a rumor. I don't know if it's true or not, but
Cody and Robin were in Flagstaff. Isn't that where they live? Oh no!
It's okay. You're not in trouble. I'm just sticking to Sister Wives tonight.
So now the person's apologizing for mentioning it. She said, "I don't know if this is true." Really super fast. She did, didn't she?
So, but yeah. Long story short, this is an interesting.
Okay,
he literally
here you go. Will you ever be going live on your other channel on YouTube instead of Instagram? Just curious. I'm a member there. Watch this reaction. So remember, this is Sunday night. This is Sunday night. Sunday night.
That they tried an experiment that didn't work. Like, Cody's done. I think he's honestly done. I think he only wants to be with Robin. I honestly think he only wants to be with Robin. So I'm going to. I think Cody's done with polygamy. I agree. Why would he have to give him equity? She said, because if he gave her money, if some of the money that he put into the house was his, it just depends. I don't know how they bought their houses. I don't know. All of their finances were so interconnected. Yeah. in love with any of the other wives before they got married. Yeah, the way that he degrades the wives is really unnerving to me. And I think it would be hard to be one of the wives that's on the receiving end of that in the public. I think about that a lot when it comes to like a marital relationship. I don't know if you're married, but I am. And I would not be okay with my husband speaking like that about me publicly.
But she speaks about him publicly. There was a Cody Brown that was on here. There was a Cody, not Cody Brown. Yeah, Cody. No, a Todd Paulson that was online, an account that was saying some horrible stuff. So, not Cody Brown. Yeah, very interesting. Yeah, they did. It's about an hour for me. I probably have just as much inside information as KJ flag stuff. I'm not crazy about them filming, but they've got. Yeah, it is humiliating, isn't it?
If I was in a relation, like if my husband and I were on reality television and he was talking about me so disparagingly and putting me out to just roll me over the bus and to just humiliate me so that it's finally not his fault, I would never be okay with that. Like, he has humiliated her so much this season.
He's talking about him humiliating her. What about and talking about the fact that but yet she humiliates her husband all the time. But Toad refers to a woman's private as resembling that to him. She's so respectful. So remember, she humiliated Toad over his guitar stuff. You mean you want Katie to be up to date with current affairs of the world, and that has nothing to do with her narrative? That's going to, not going to happen. Oops, we've got no sound for a while again.
You're no longer a sister wife. You're an ex-wife and an ex-sister wife. Go to the funeral. Cody was there for the funeral, but I don't feel like they would miss something like that. Like, they were all close to Mary's mom. And, Cody's going to go there for his daughter, right? Because Mariah. But I don't even think half the kids really like Cody. And I remember when Isabel's surgery was going on, McKelty was like on a live stream or something, and someone asked her like what was going on, and is Cody going to be at the surgery? And she was super cagey about the whole situation. And I feel like everyone's been really cagey about what's going on with him and Christine. And when Christine was like doing her interview with Us Weekly, so the Us Weekly lady, I think her name is Christina, she like interviewed all of them. And she asked like everyone if they were still together. And Janelle said yes. And Robin said yes. And then Mary and Christine said nothing. Like, Christine didn't even address it. And then when she was in her conversation with Christina, she also just sort of skirted around it. Like, she said she didn't want to be in a monogamous relationship, but she wasn't like talking like we're still in a marriage. Yeah, Mary's mom passed away very suddenly, like about a month ago. I don't know what she passed from. It happened really fast. Mary did a whole post on her Instagram, and she said that her mom always told her that she would go really fast, and that's kind of what happened. I don't know if she got COVID or if she had been sick. I really don't know. Yeah, it was unexpected. Yeah.
She won't go live for a while because the reason is she knows everyone's going to wait for her.
So I'm just
Like, everyone's going to call her out. Old age is why she passed.
Yeah, I posted when Mary's mom died. I did a whole thing on my Instagram. You can actually scroll down and look through everything and see that I sent condolences to Mary and her family and to Mariah. Janelle's mom passed away too. So Janelle's mom passed away and Mary's mom passed away. Janelle's mom passed away, I think, in the fall. I think it was like mid-fall, maybe. It was cold out. Yeah, and Mary posted a whole tribute to her mother too. Yeah, I don't know what they didn't say, and I think I found the obituary and they didn't really say what her cause of death was. So, and if they just want to keep that private, it's not like I'm gonna like, go poking around.
Oh, really?
In her 70s, so it could have been anything.
She's not going to go poking around. I know. It makes sure YouTube should know that there is someone with a channel with members paying monthly and there's no activity on that channel.
Really?
I actually feel bad that I do a pre-recorded on a Monday night, but, and I actually have a weekend coming up with the choir, so I've got to get some pre-recorded content to go while I'm away as well. So, I just keep trying to do it. I just try to keep content going so it can be, so that there's content, because I just really I would hate for you guys to be paying for something and not getting something in return.
It's really sad. Obviously, she was running Lizzie's Heritage Inn, and she and her mom were always very close. So I'm sure it's been very hard for Mary the last few weeks.
All this speculation that she's driving is not going to help either.
Yeah, I don't remember how old her mom was. I always have to remember that, like, just because they're on reality television doesn't mean they have to share everything. You know what I mean? Like, they still have a right to have some level of privacy.
KJ's nieces and nephews, she's now taking the role of being a woman of color and does not understand how genes work. YouTube has been told about KJ's behavior loads of times. I don't know why she has not been reprimanded by them. Maybe she has, and that's why she's not doing lives anymore on there. Her members need to cancel memberships. I would if there'd been no content for weeks, girls. Those people who joined should get their money back from KJ. I think so, yeah. But rated members only live. I know that's when Rick takes over from me when I'm away. The R, it means the Rick rated. And I'm also fighting off the dog and they're fighting off the cat. They want to be fed and go out for a walk. Of course they do. All right.
Especially since her mom was on the episode tonight, but yeah. So, anyways, I posted a bunch of stuff of Jeremy's sermons. So mind you,
now remember, somebody talked about the shootings and she said it was only going to be a Sister Wives channel. Bear that in mind, okay? She was only talking about Sister Wives. Bear that in mind.
I spent a lot of time listening to his sermons, because I'm going to read their book, right? So I feel like anytime I'm about to read a book, I want to have a really good understanding of who someone is. And he has put a lot of information out there on his beliefs and everything. So I spent a lot of time listening to his sermons while I was doing other things today. And this weekend, my husband was so annoyed. Oh my gosh. Because we were just like running around the house. I'd be cleaning or just hanging out with them. And I would just have it on the background, seeing if I could find some spots or hear something that he said something. The book comes out in May. So yeah, I mean, there is so much homophobia, like so much. It's a layer of overarching. If he doesn't outright say something homophobic and hateful in a sermon, there's nearly always an innuendo about it.
Oh, so she's saying he doesn't necessarily come out and say it, but she takes it as implied. Right. So it means she is interpreting it to be that way.
Because he'll talk about how the culture has shifted and they have to accept things that they shouldn't have to accept. And so there's a lot of just really hateful speech. His sermons are also, I don't know how anyone could go to his church and feel like good. Like, I don't know about you, but when I was a believer, I didn't want to go to a church and feel like everything I was doing was going to be wrong and that I was going to hell for everything. I want to go to church to feel uplifted and to feel closer to God. And all he does in his sermons that are on his YouTube channel are basically him telling people about what sinners they are and how they need to stand up for things.
For all have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. For God so loved the world, they gave his only Son, that whoever believes in him shall not perish, but have everlasting life. For God did not send his Son in the world to condemn the world, but to save the world. She blocked me from Instagram, so can't help with the cause. If we didn't need to be saved, we wouldn't need a savior. And if we didn't sin, we wouldn't need a savior. Oh, KJ, you just don't know what you're talking about. So someone says, it's crazy that the hate is being filled to their kids. And then someone says, well, did your son hear those sermons? So remember, she's talking about how hateful these sermons are. And then she's saying, and then what she's saying is that she was listening to it while doing other things, which means she's exposed to her son to what she's calling hate, which is very foolish. And most who do that are trying to educate believers.
And how gay people are wrong. And, you know, he even says God hates, he even says that it's that line where they said, hate the sin, love the sinner, or whatever, like hate the sin, love the sinner. He would basically say like, no, that's wrong. God doesn't like sinners. God only likes people that don't sin. So if you're a sinner and you're staying in your sin, we don't have to like you.
Which means doesn't like anybody. Because we're all sinners.
I mean, that's effectively what he says. I mean,
we're sinners saved by grace. KJ. She thinks she's untouchable now. She has a YouTube button. For too long, she got away with stuff. For those very disheartened, for all those who blindly follow her nonsense, I'll say it. This is a cult. It is not funny. Allegedly, IMO. Everything to KJ is moving. I listen to junk with my children around, but I have earbuds. She could do that. I can't with her. I just can't. So she wants to go to church and be told she's perfect. Not surprising, says Pugs and Pizzas. I want to go to church to be challenged, to have the opportunity to be refreshed. God doesn't want us to sin, but he will forgive us when we do, says Claire. But she was proud when Derek's mum said she was praying for her.
And like his position is that if you're going to continue to be a sinner, there's nothing that he has to do, and that you can just deal with God's wrath and you can suffer the consequences and go to hell. I mean, that's honestly what.
Hell is what happens if you reject God. That's what happens if you're not saved. That's where you're going to go. It'd be nice if you told us what sermon it was, because I would like to listen to it and hear it myself. But Yeah, it's interesting that she's not given any references again as to what she's doing it. It's effectively what he says. In other words, that's not what he said. That's what I wanted to hear. Exactly, Rosalind. He has one of those short fuses that we talk about, says Jane. We should be convicted. That's what the apostles and Jesus did. Must all be held accountable in our lives. KJ is no different. I fear it won't happen.
But I heard.
And by the time she goes to meet the maker, it'll be too late. Attack subscribers and members for KJ. He's one of the her bulldogs, which really upsets me to use that word because I had an English bulldog. And the sweetest thing, I miss my bulldogs. KJ, by your logic, you have a first-class ticket to hell. Your brain, Pia, I know. Aren't you glad you've taken the study break for this?
and over again. There was nothing about compassion and understanding or love. It was like, and he would talk about murder, and then he would say he had no compassion at all, and he would just say, we shouldn't even lock them up. They should be killed. He's one of the very few Christians I have literally ever heard be supportive of capital punishment. It is very rare.
Is she actually confusing that with another religion? Or did she hear a sermon on the Old Testament? She'll tell God I didn't say that. The eye for the eye, and that is the Old Testament. But Jesus didn't. He condemned that. He said, "You've heard it said, eye for eye, for tooth. However, I will tell you." She's the first one that says these reality shows are scripted. So it would make her think that her show wouldn't be scripted, and if Toad was to run the bus over her once back and forth. If one is an atheist, why is Christianity such a thing for her? I don't know. Maybe she's been convicted and that's what she doesn't like. Maybe she's been convicted.
That you hear a Christian support capital punishment. And he is like, an eye for an eye. And I'm like, are you insane? Then I also watched a bunch of his sermons about parenting.
So she read or she watched?
And he's so for like corporal punishment. And he talks about how kids like need to be, and it's not your job to like be emotional to them, and like it's wild. It's so wild. So long story short, that's what I spent my day listening to, and I think it's just like so wild. Yeah, Jeremy is pretty out there. He also called people that were dying pathetic. Honestly, he said people that are dying watching TV are pathetic.
We're all going to die, mate. Oh, yeah, we'll give them the red carpet treatment here. Like, some of this stuff is just but so bizarre. I just find it hard to believe, but I'm almost tempted to watch to see how out of context is. Because I know when she showed those clips the other day, what she was saying he was saying was not what he was saying. Does that make sense? Hi, Michelle.
The level of hate that comes out of his mouth. And then it was funny because then I jump over to the podcast and he's talking about how to handle criticism. Like, all I heard for 2 days was him literally criticizing everyone, and then he's sitting there talking about criticism. I was like, oh my goodness.
Is she talking to herself again? But Duggars know they are making their money from people watching them on TV. She never has receipts for any of the claims. Without a link, we don't know if you really said any of this or not. She could be making that. Well, that's what I'm saying. She could be. Yes, they need to come out where people are nice and the truth is told. Yeah, that's all right. Welcome to stalking, Michelle. We're allowed to stalk. This was set Katie did not go to surgery in New Jersey because it was in the middle of the pandemic. That's what I thought. Did you do another one again? Is this another one? Let's have a look. Insta. So she must be up, is she? So she's going to go on a James Charles rant now, is she? Oh, she has too. Wowzers. And then she's got another one about sister wives. The last photo Christine Brown shared on Instagram of Cody and her alone was in March. Well, I guess we should expect her any moment in here. Pandemic, I'm sure everything is.
His parents are, yes, very religious. He says if you murder someone, eye for an eye. So
I find it hard
this
to
isn't
believe.
even like, it's so disturbing. Everyone's a false preacher too. It's like everyone else has it wrong. He disparages everyone. He is so awful about Catholics.
He disparages everybody. Who else does that? Yes, Miss Katie. To stay indoors. So you were saying to stay home orders. So there was, okay, that's what they were filming. Okay. Perfect marriage to me. Oh, she's saying the Bible says eye for an eye. Yeah, in the Old Testament it does.
Calls Catholics demonic, pagan, Satanist. Like he calls them like next to Satan. Adulterous. He doesn't like Pentecostals that use like their tongues. He is like he hates the fundamentalists. Like he doesn't like anyone. And it's like unless I'm sitting here listening to him preach, and I'm like, dude's like acting like he's a cult leader. It's so creepy. Eye for an eye for murder, not for LGBTQ plus. Eye for an eye for murder. So I never said LGBTQ plus murder. Eye for an eye for murder. So he's for the death penalty. He doesn't think people should be corrected or reformed. Like if you kill someone, the Bible says that you should kill them. Yeah. He doesn't believe in psychology. He talks a lot about psychology and how you should ignore psychological theories.
Hello, River. Hello, Diane. Hello, everyone still coming in. I've still got 101 watching.
You should ignore all the studies that say that corporal punishment and spanking and discipline is bad. You should you should ignore all of the literature that comes out about psychology, therapy, pharmaceuticals. He was like in one degrading a mother that put their child on Adderall for ADHD. He is anti-pharmaceuticals for mental health. He doesn't believe mental health is really a thing. He thinks that you just don't believe in God enough. It's like he is so far out there. So yeah. But all I'm saying is that I grew up Catholic, and most Catholics don't believe in the death penalty. Most Catholics, at least that I was around, did not support the death penalty because we're taught to like have compassion for people. That even though someone sins, if they can repent and testify before God and truly repent,
she's just talked about the gospel there. So that's the Christian faith she's just talked about there.
Supposed to forgive along with God. So that's how I grew up. Like I was in a faith where we might have done some, I mean, I know people don't like Catholics, but that's how I grew up. And I mean, I feel like I can criticize Catholics because I was Catholic. You know what I mean? Like I can be like, well, that's how my church was. But it's weird to hear him like call them demonic. You know, I'm like, dude, no, they're not demonic. I don't think I'm speaking for one religion. No, Jeremy's not a born-again Christian. His dad is a pastor. And, yeah, the church they're involved in is super scary. John MacArthur.
Huh? Did you just say he's not a born-again Christian? So an atheist is still bound by their form of religion. Well, remember, don't forget, Gail, that... Don't forget, Gail, she hasn't written the letter to the Pope yet to quit. Fellowship of... Yeah, that's right. Remember when she said she was still Catholic because she hadn't written to the Pope?
The leader of the church, John MacArthur, is freaky. Like about a month ago, he came out and said he did not believe in freedom of religion. He would not support any other denominations, and he would only support his faith. He said he didn't have to support freedom of religion. He wouldn't stand up for freedom of religion anymore because everyone else is a false teacher. You start to get into very dangerous territory when people have a leader in their church that says, we're the end all be all, and nobody else has it righter, and we're the only promised people. Literally, in one of his sermons, he said, you are the promised and chosen people. And he said that you cannot have unity with people that don't understand the doctrine like you do.
No, the Pope has not kicked her out yet. Silly me, the letter from the Pope. I grew up Catholic, greatest teaching the Bible stories of... Oh, I tell you, hey? Oh, I can't keep up.
And he talked a lot about Jewish people. And this is the other thing that is very weird to me. Growing up Catholic, priests did not speak about the Jewish people with disparity, or they weren't disparaging of the Jewish faith because Christ was Jewish. And so growing up Catholic, like the way that we were taught was that Christ was Jewish, and so that you didn't disparage the Jewish people. Like he started his own faith, but to love Christ, you had to acknowledge that Christ was Jewish. And we were taught that the way that we were taught was that it was like the Romans and the Roman Empire and the kings that were just so after him. And they could say that the Jewish people were after Christ, but Christ was Jewish. So it's so weird. Like he talks so negatively about Jewish people too. It's very wild. I did notice that Ginger has, yeah. I think they have a lot of similarities. He has a lot of commonalities to what the Duggars believe. He was a pastor for years, so he isn't working towards being a pastor. He already was a pastor. He's working on his divinity degree. So just more education. He had already been ordained as a pastor in this world. And it's really weird too. Like, I've never listened to somebody's sermon where they use like books and not the Bible. Like, it's wild. I didn't grow up thinking that not other people would be saved. That's not how I grew up. I had friends that were Lutheran. We were all just Christian. And he would he's using books to explain the Bible. I'm like, it's weird.
So this was her live stream on, this was from Sunday night. This was after Sister Wives. It was supposed to be a Sister Wives stream, but she got onto Jeremy Volo, however you pronounce his name. And hi, Kelly. And now she's on a rant about religion.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I left the Catholic Church for a reason, but there's certainly not everything about growing up Catholic. Not every aspect of Catholicism is negative to me. You know, there were aspects of my faith that obviously mattered to me.
It would have been your faith that gave you some morals too.
You have to be baptized in the Catholic Church in order to take communion. So it's no different. I wouldn't take communion in a Lutheran church. I'm not Lutheran. You know, I think it's just a respect thing.
However, I have been in a church where they did ask but I did say to people, we want, if you haven't taken communion before, you're welcome to. So she does. I know.
You go through the sacraments in Catholicism, which is not the same as all the others. Are you going to? Okay. So Carmel is hating the Catholics, but I'm telling you that I'm here to just talk. So you can hate the Catholics with Jeremy. Sounds good?
Someone asked her, did she study religion? She's deleting. She's doing
Yeah,
deleting.
you have to do your first communion to take communion in the Catholic Church. Although my cousin at my grandpa's funeral took communion, and everyone was really mad at him because he didn't go through communion. Even people that were had left the Catholic Church, in my family.
Someone says, any new YouTube videos coming up?
It was disrespectful. So no YouTube. I don't work on the weekends on YouTube. So tomorrow morning there will be stuff. Tomorrow afternoon it won't be in the morning. So, but no, I don't put YouTube. I don't typically do YouTube on the weekends. Today I did taxes all day. So not all day. Spent time with my kid. That kind of stuff. Family time. Played, cleaned. We got kinetic sand yesterday. Played with kinetic sand. Got some markers. Did some drawing. That kind of stuff. Weekends are family. And then taxes. But anyways. Kinetic sand is amazing. Obviously, I left Catholicism for a reason. But I also will respect when I'm in a church, I'm not going to be disrespectful. That's just not how I was raised. As much as I don't agree with the Catholic Church anymore, I would never go into a church and just be outright disrespectful to any of the believers in there. All right, you guys. So I see people in chat having arguments, and I don't want to be a part of this negativity. So if you guys are going to have arguments with each other, I'm going to say goodbye. Good night.
There you go. That was it. So we've caught up on all her lives. Oh, you know what? You're only as good as your subs and your members. It's just I've got really great subs, so that's why this place, and of course, amazing moderators. Is it tax season is over? So I'm only as good as my moderators and everything, and I've got to give a lot of credit to Rick, who does a lot of my editing too. So, and Poppy and Gail, they do a lot of stuff with me. So, yeah. Cool. KJ hit the like and became a sub here. Woohoo! Yay! Hello! Oh, we don't have to worry about taxes until June, July. But really, we don't really have a lot of issues here. We do get the occasional ones, but we try to deal with it as quickly as we can, or we deal with it. We deal with it pretty quickly afterwards. So, and Gail, in the Discord, when we get you on Discord, we've got a mods room in there so that the mods we can chat. So that should make it easier. Oh, thank you very much for the super sticker, Misty. Very much appreciated. Very much appreciated. Thank you. I'm waiting for the refile day. Your subs are nice because you treat us with respect. Oh, thank you, Eileen. Woohoo! Yeah. Now you're really only as good. You're only really as good as your subs and your members and your mods. So if KJ ever became positive, our hearts would stop. There was an extension, I think. Chats here. Yeah. Yes. So yes, we can. Yeah, we're gonna have a special mods room. So. And Rick is also manager of Discord as well because he knows what he's doing. I've got no idea. So again, lots of the stuff comes down to Rick. So far we had one issue and it was handled so well, and I still say this is a safe place. Yes. There are chats I won't go into more because people don't include everyone. Our tax day is now May 17. Cool. Look, I think we've had two. I think I can come up with two things that we've had that we've handled and we've handled quickly, and you know, we've had debrief, we've had chats amongst ourselves to make it. Oh, Rick knows. Oh yeah, Rick's all knowing. No, it's he's actually been a very big help, so I'm very grateful for him. And I bounce ideas off Poppy as well. So thank you, Poppy Seeds and Rick and Gail. Are the main ones. I know half Rose over. She's had some health issues. She'll be back soon. Oh, he'll like that. Thank you very much, Pia. So for those of you on Discord, you will see that I put a little image there. It's actually Rick actually took that from my video and did that. That's Rick's handiwork. And I'm happy to make a joke of myself. So let me just show you what it is, everyone, so you can all see it. Okay. Oh, it's not going to open. Oh, no, it's a bit slow. Let me open it up for you. Oops. Where'd that go? There we go. Look at that. So yeah, so that's my image. Yeah, I will send Half Rose over best wishes. Yeah. She said to me she was hoping to come back after school holidays, and school's only been back for a couple of days here. So they've had 2 weeks off over Easter. So yeah. Next for the holidays is in July for another 2 weeks. So anyway. So yeah, so all right, well, I want that. You can make KJ a mod. She'd be happy. I'm sure she would have. What's happening with your eyes, Joe? Yeah, so when I was doing my video, the one that was played last night, I somehow my eyes were moving from side to side. So Rick actually took it and then sped it up. So it makes it look like. Let's replace it. Oh, thank you very much, Eileen. Make KJ a mod. You know, it's bad when your family know not to ring when Joey's on. Matt, send her to the unfurnished corner. Yeah. Anyway, I want to thank you all for joining me. I have to go pick up my daughter now. Yes, that's what it was. I was doing a KJ and looking around. As I said, so it's just so, yeah. So anyway, I will catch you tomorrow night, which is Wednesday night my time. And I will be filming some stuff to play again Monday. So Monday night will be a premiere night. Or your Sunday. No, your Monday. I don't know. My Monday night, I will be a premiere. So at least one night a week's a premiere. So we can all chat together. And then there'll be some other stuff as well that will come up uploaded as well. So you love the GIF? Yeah, thank you. So I said that was Rick. So thank you, Rick, for that. All right. So have a great day, great night, great life. And I will catch you all again soon. I just remembered I actually have an outro.